So let's go to John chapter 5. John 5 verse 1. After these things, there was a feast of the Jews, and Joshua went up to Jerusalem. Now there are only 3 feasts in which the Jews are required to go to the temple at Jerusalem. Pesach, which is Passover, Shavuot, which is Feast of Weeks, and Sukkot, or Feast of Tabernacles. In the chronology of the Messiah, the only feast that fits this timeline is Shavuot, as both Passover and Tabernacles are mentioned in other scriptures prior and post to this event, respectively. So continuing with John 5, verse 2. And at Jerusalem is a pool at the sheep gate, which is called in Hebrew Bethesda, having 5 porches. Verse 5. But a certain man was there, being in infirmity 38 years. Seeing him lying, and knowing that he had already spent much time, Joshua said to him, Do you desire to become well? Verse 8. Rise up, take up your cot, and walk. And instantly the man became well, and took up his cot, and walked. And it was a Sabbath day. Then the Jews said to the one having been healed, It is a Sabbath. It is not lawful for you to lift up your cot. Of course, John had already told us this was a Jewish feast day Sabbath. Verse 11, and he answered them, The one making me well, that one said to me, Lift up your cot and walk. Now pay close attention to this one point Joshua is going to make. Verse 14, After these things, Joshua found him at the temple and said to him, Behold, you have become well. Sin no more, that a worse thing not happen to you. The man went away and told the Jews that Joshua is the one making him well. And because of this, the Jews persecuted Joshua and lusted to kill him, because he did these things on a Sabbath. But Joshua answered them, My Father works until now, and I work. Joshua is making a proclamation that he works on the days his father Yahweh allows, not on the days dictated by the Pharisees and their false calendar. The Messiah made it clear to them that he works on the days that his Father himself worked, and that this day was in fact a work day and not one of his Father's rest day Sabbaths. Therefore, since his Father worked on this day, so shall he. Now Shavuot is a Hag, meaning pilgrim, feast day, where all adult males, as we said, are to travel to and gather where Yahweh places his name. And of course, in those days, that would have been the temple at Jerusalem. But no service work is to be done on that day, as per Yahweh's own instructions. And we read that in Numbers 28, verse 26. And in the day of the first fruits, as you offer a new food offering to Yahweh, in the feast of your weeks, Shavuot, you shall have a holy gathering, and shall do no work of service. Healing was a work of service. So would the Messiah go against his Father's instructions? No, never. For a sinful Messiah could not cleanse anything. John 5, verse 18. On account of this, then more Jews sought to kill him. For not only he untied the Sabbath, but he also called ELOAH his own father, making himself equal to ELOAH. Okay, so the Jews sought to kill him because, 1, he untied their Sabbath. That came first. And secondly, because he said he was the son of ELOAH. But first he untied their Sabbath. They knew the Sabbath was a mark. It is a mark of being ELOAH's people. They knew that. They were well versed in the Tanakh, in the Old Testament. And so they knew very well what Yahshua was saying to them. And he untied their Sabbath. Now the Greek word for untied is lo, L-O-O, which made me laugh the first time I saw this, because I used to own a porta potty company, and a loo, L-O-O, is British slang for toilet. So it seemed like basically the Messiah was throwing the Pharisees' Sabbath in the toilet. So let's look at the Thayer's definition for untied. And it means dissolve anything bound, tied, or compacted together. Dismiss, break up, annul, subvert, do away with, deprive of authority, whether by precept or act. Declare unlawful, to loosen what is compacted or built together, to break up, demolish, destroy, to dissolve something coherent into parts, to destroy, metaphorically to overthrow, to do away with. In the Strong's Concordance, we're told to compare this word with G4486. And that word means to break, wreck, or crack. That is, especially to sunder, a shattering to minute fragments, burst, rend, tear. The Messiah destroyed, dissolved, he sundered the Jewish Shabbat. Now, sunder means, from the Merriam-Webster dictionary, to break apart or in two, separate by or as if by violence or by intervening time or space. And, well, they wanted to kill him for it. The scriptures declare that Yahshua is the fulfillment of the Torah. We can read that in Matthew 5:17 and Romans 8:3 and 4. The Torah commands that the Sabbath days be kept, a time that pointed the people to ELOAH as they rested from their daily labors. Yahshua would have observed all called out Sabbaths in this manner. For if Yahshua had broken a Sabbath, then he would not be a spotless lamb. His sacrifice would not have been accepted as payment for sin. No one could benefit from a sinful Messiah. So finishing up with John 5 and the Messiah telling the leaders at the temple that today was not a rest day of his Father. John 5 verse 19. Then Yahshua answered and said to them, truly, truly, I say to you, the Son is not able to do anything from himself, except what he may see the Father doing. For whatever that one does, these things also the Son does likewise. Again restating that this is a work day for his Father. Now you know the truth. And until we meet again, I'm going to wish you shalom, shalom.
Shalom, shalom.